House vote sometime this afternoon on the latest nominee for Speaker of the House. We're now starting week 4 without a speaker, the person who is third in line to the presidency since the ouster of Kevin McCarthy. Our Adam Longo is back on Capitol Hill with more on the latest Republican congressman trying to keep the party together. Adam, yesterday it was Majority Whip Tom Emmer trying to secure the nomination. That unraveled in grand fashion, and today we're seeing Representative Mike Johnson of Louisiana becoming the latest nominee. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon to you, Simone. I'd like to start by rattling off a few numbers here. The first one is 14 and a half. House Republicans spent 14 and a half hours yesterday inside of a conference room trying to sort out all this speaker mess. 10. That's the number of votes they took yesterday. 10 votes to end up where we are right now, with Mike Johnson being the speaker designate. 22. This is day 22 that the House of Representatives has been unable to function. 22 days without a House Speaker. But perhaps the most crucial number that we should be clued in on at this point tonight, 23. 23 days until the government runs out of money. You're looking live inside of the House chamber, where Patrick McHenry, the Speaker Pro Tem, is expected to enter any moment and gavel the House into session. What will happen next? There will be a quorum call. That's essentially attendance for the House members. That'll last about 20 minutes. Following that, nomination speeches for each of the candidates. Democrats, of course, will be nominating Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and then Republicans, we don't know who yet, will stand to nominate Mike Johnson, Republican of Louisiana, the vice chair right now of the Republican conference. So what do we know about Mike Johnson? Well, we know that he is in his 4th term as a Republican congressman from Louisiana. We know he is pro-life. We know he is pro-Trump. We know he is anti-gay marriage. This marathon session that Republicans went through yesterday, yielding Johnson as the speaker nominee. I talked with 2 Republican Congress folks last night. First, Tim Burchett, who you're about to hear of Tennessee, who was one of the 8 to vote to oust former Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and then Lauren Boebert from Colorado, who is one of the members who informally nominated Johnson for the position. Let's listen to both of them.
We're united. And the folks are, I think they're ready. And Mike Johnson is, as I used to say in East Tennessee, he's clean as a hound's tooth.
I have no concerns that Mike Johnson cannot get to 217 votes on the floor. We are united. This is the most enthusiasm that I have felt in any of these meetings.
Clean as a hound's tooth, says Republican Tim Burchett of East Tennessee. We will see, because it's going to take 217 Republican votes to secure the speakership, meaning that Johnson could only lose 4. We know this. The votes last night in the Republican conference, he didn't have one person stand up and vote against him. However, 20 members were not there, Simone, for that final vote, and 3 of them voted present. One thing I do want to share with you real quick, because I literally just got it. This is an agenda that's been laid out by the Speaker designee Johnson. I'm just going to read a few of these things here. The first thing that they want to do is pass a resolution condemning Hamas. The second, to reach consensus on a legislative blueprint for the rest of this Congress, so through next year. Third on this list, pass the appropriations bills and start negotiating with the White House and Senate. They have 23 days. 23 days, Simone, to go through 12 different appropriations bills in order to ensure that the government doesn't face a shutdown on November 17th. It will be a tall order. We're also getting reaction from senators today on how they feel they might be able to work with this new speaker, assuming the vote goes as planned, and we do have a House Speaker by this time tonight. Back to you.
We saw Emmer gaining some momentum yesterday until Donald Trump began commenting, and then the campaign completely fell apart, as you touched on. Any indication or any idea that that might happen again today? Any rumblings of that so far?
Okay, so 2 things that we know for sure. First, Trump has not come out fervently for or fervently against Johnson, but these 2 are tethered closely. Johnson was the lawyer, so to speak, for Trump in both of his impeachment trials in the Senate. They are very closely tied together. Johnson, not a member of the Freedom Caucus, but a very conservative member nonetheless. He and Donald Trump have been in lockstep. Of course, Johnson voting to try to overturn the results of the election in 2020. And not just that, he's an attorney, working in legal circles to try and undo the results in some of these battleground states in 2020 that were won by Joe Biden. So I think what you will likely hear is a very strong-throated endorsement from Donald Trump for Mike Johnson.
All right, Adam, thank you so much. And again, we'll be keeping an eye out for a vote today. Thank you.